destroy my world!
Alright, what is up everybody? Today we have another Marvel Rivals video for you today, and today I wanted to talk about how good this season 8.5 of Marvel Rivals has been. It's actually very good. Believe it or not, this is probably the best update balance-wise that we're ever gonna get. And it's really unfortunate because knowing this game, right? I've been playing this game since the early access and the betas and all that. It's a shame because I just know that because we're getting a new hero every month, that new hero there's gonna be eventually a time where a new hero will just break the game, and on top of that, they just have to balance something, you know, in a way that will just completely break the game. So, but for right now, I want to talk about how good this update in particular is. I want to talk about how the adjustments they made is actually really decent and really noticeable, and I want to talk about the only things that I wish this game would more so try to fix or implement, rather than just like adding the usual new character balance patch, sometimes new maps and whatnot. So, and stop like this arcade shit. Like I'm gonna lay out some stuff here accordingly. So first and foremost, Devil Dinosaur did get nerfed in a way where now it's just a little bit harder for him to be effective, right? In a way where, for example, because the way I see it is, you gotta understand, I'm a tank main. So, and if you're a tank main, I know that you know that the way this game is you're either gonna solo tank or you're gonna have a second tank with you, but that second tank is probably gonna be like not that good for, you know, comboing with you, or quite honestly, like you're either gonna have 3 DPSs, 2 supports, and you're gonna be the only tank, or there's just not gonna be any tanks at all, because the moment you want to play something else, no one wants to fill in tank. People would much rather just play triple support over 2 tanks. So we're kind of in a tank limbo, purgatory phenomena. Like, I don't know what's going on with the tank role in particularly, because there's a lot of good tanks in the game. It's not like tanks just suck. There's a lot of variety for tanks. You got the DPS tanks, you got your genuine tanks with shields, and you got dive tanks, right? Like Hulk and Angela. You got setup tank like Penny. And I mean, I don't really understand this phenomena that I'm experiencing. And I know that if you're a tank player, you're also going to experience this a lot too. So that's just one of the things that us tank players have to deal with. And my point with all me saying this is basically them coming out with Devil Dinosaur was a fresh breath air. It's basically a breath of fresh air because he's a really strong tank. And I mean, I'll admit he was pretty strong. He was pretty strong, you know, like I'll admit it. But at the same time, I also felt like there was quite a bit of counters to him, right? Because he's really fun. He's not that hard to play. I mean, there is no combos with Devil Dinosaur, right? You just apply bleed and then you grab him and then kill them and then that's it, right? But I guess it was causing like the Mauga effect from Overwatch in a weird way, where it's like Dino versus Dino, whoever dies loses the team wipe or whatever. So I get it, but I think them nerfing that bleed was kind of a little much. I would say they did remove the knockdown effect on the impact beam, which I mean, I guess because there's a lot of like all my videos that I made doing commentary, basically I was saying like every character is an anti-flyer, and that even includes like melee characters as well. Right now, the only characters that are not anti-flyers are Devil Dinosaur and Captain America. There's really no other characters that I, you know, can think of that isn't really anti-flyers, right? Like, but yeah, so the point is like Devil Dinosaur only lasting 1 month, right? Because he just came out. He came out in season 8.0 and we're in 8.5. So that's a month, and he only lasted 1 month. And they nerfed him pretty decently. I mean, they didn't nerf his, I mean, they did nerf his damage, right? Because of the bleed, but they mainly just got rid of the knockdown effect and they increased the barrier by 2 seconds. And then the bleed, they nerfed it by half. So that's a big deal. And so, you know, it's just, but to be fair, they didn't buff Angela. They just reverted the nerfs that they gave her. So now she feels more like how she was back in the older seasons. So, you know, and then Magneto did get buff as well. His ultimate which is pretty good. And then Rogue also got buffed as well, which something that she really needed it. She really needed it. So you know, it's just a weird spot for us tank players right now. But I also do understand why they had to nerf Double Dinosaur. So that's kind of like my thing with tanks right now. Let's talk about DPSs. DPSs probably got the most changes overall. I would say it's pretty much, for this season in particular, it's been a pretty good change, because Black Cat, I'll say, okay, let's just talk about the elephant in the room here. Black Cat, is Black Cat unplayable? I'm gonna say yes. I think she's borderline unplayable. I personally don't think you're gonna get much value out of Black Cat now, unless you're super patient, right? You really are just BP now, where you're just waiting for your cooldowns, go in, maybe get a kill, maybe not get a kill, and then get out, right? Just go in 1-2 and then you get out or die, right? Black Cat got crazy nerfs that I've never seen before in my life, bro. Like, it is crazy. They removed her dash, they nerfed the dash damage, they nerfed her little phantom iframe shit. They nerfed the damage on that. They increased the cost of everything, right, all the way up to 300. They nerfed the flame orb, but not just in cost, but in the actual ability itself. So you no longer have wall hacks. It actually needs to tag the targets in order for it to reveal them to the whole team. Your ultimate got a pretty significant range nerf, right? And your ult also no longer does percent damage. So that means that if you attack a tank, you pretty much sold your ult. You pretty much just lost your ult. You messed up your ult, because you're not gonna do any damage to the tank at all. So it is pretty much now a type of ult where you want to use it as a you know, maybe just kill the supports in the back line and then that's it, or maybe force the supports to pop their ults, something like that, something along those lines. But of course, you no longer get the full reset if the target that you're going after, if you get a assist, it no longer adds the max amount of time, which is 11 seconds. It's now just 3 seconds. So now you actually got to kill something. It is really crazy, just the amount of changes that this character got within a span of 2 months, right? Because remember, she came out in 7.5 and we're in 8.5, so it's a whole season, a whole 2 months. So it is pretty crazy, the time frame for this character, right? She lasted 2 months, and this is where I want to talk about the favoritism stuff just for a little bit, because it's kind of crazy. Okay, call me crazy, but Black Cat came out really strong. She was a really good character for me personally. I liked her design because she was really difficult to play. The amount of people that would play Black Cat for that first 2 weeks and just gave up. They died one time, they swapped to their Champ Bucky, Champ Spider-Man, right? The amount of times I've seen that is insane. Also, it is very satisfying to play Black Cat, right? Doing all these tricks, circus tricks and whatnot, and then getting your ult kills, right? Just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Just killing them all one by one is really satisfying. She was a really fun character. Of course, the store that she has where you can buy all the items and whatnot is really fun as well, because it just adds a lot of utility, right? You have a self-cleanse, an invisibility, a grounded AoE ability, a UAV, right, where you can see enemies through walls. You have a portal, right? It's really good. It's really fun. But now, Black Cat is very, let's just say, nowhere near she no longer has that same value as she once did. And the whole thing with favoritism is she only lasted 2 months. Look at Daredevil. Daredevil came out so long ago, bro, and he is still only getting nerfs every patch. Daredevil health nerf, Daredevil shield nerf, Daredevil baton nerf, Daredevil mark, getting your marks, got reduced. Now the range is getting reduced. Now this is getting reduced. Now the deflect is getting reduced. And he's still a menace. He's still a menace. He just has an insane kit. Now, will I say, is this the patch where Daredevil can finally get a rest, right? Can he just take a season without getting nerfed? We'll have to wait and see. I think it's still a little too early. People are not used to, people haven't adapted yet to the 1.2 second of the deflect duration. People are also not used to the significant nerf of the Sonic Pursuit dash, which is the one where you mark an enemy and you dash towards them, right? You pretty much have to be right there in order to get that dash, which means now it's no longer a dash that you use to like, because remember, it was 20 meters. It went from 20 meters to 12 meters. So that's nearly half. They nerfed the range by pretty much almost half. And you pretty much are only going to use it to close in on your target, right? Maybe they're running away from you and you can't hit them with your melee, so you just Sonic Pursuit them or something like that, right? And then that's pretty much it. And of course, the radar maximum detection range went from 50 meters to 40 meters. It's a 10-meter range nerf, and it's pretty significant, right? Because if you're Daredevil main, you're a champ, which most Daredevil players are at this point, you're gonna notice this. There's one of those things where it doesn't seem that much. If you're just like casually playing Daredevil back, you know, every now and then, it's not gonna be that big of a difference. But if you're a Daredevil main, right, then you're gonna see these nerfs and you're going to feel it. Even 1 meter of a range is really significant for this character. So I think honestly, it's a pretty good nerfs so far. They haven't touched his ult, which sure, right? Because in this game particular, it's Marvel ult. Marvel ult is Marvel ult rivals, right? That's all it is. So they gotta at the very least keep the ults somewhat strong. They haven't touched his ult at all. So his ult is pretty decent. But I would say with the fact that we now have Devil Dinosaur, which is a just super counter to Daredevil, right? He's a hyper counter. Rogue getting buffed, right? Also really good. And hell, I would even say Cyclops is a pretty decent character to have, you know, keep Daredevil at bay. He can box Daredevil in a way. Like as long as you have the ability to like back away, you're gonna be okay. Like even against someone like Spider-Man, like if Spider-Man's on you, you can just, you know, back off. Or even someone like what's his name, Bucky. If Bucky hooks you, you can immediately do your back off dash attack, you know, to get away. And Bucky won't have enough time. He won't have enough frames to basically uppercut you and whatnot. And even if he does uppercut you, you can just get away because he no longer has grounded. So Cyclops is a really fun character, and we'll talk about him here in a second. But yeah, Daredevil, I think we'll have to wait and see. But so far, I think he's pretty decent. He's in a good spot where I could comfortably say that Daredevil is he's pretty good. He's in a good spot. I much prefer him to stay like this than how he was, you know, when he first came out. Now, one more DPS character I wanted to talk about was basically Blade. Blade got a pretty decent buff, not the craziest buffs, but a welcoming buff that is, and that is his blade got more damage, right? The initial hit damage of Daywalker Dash went from 20 to 30, and the spin attack went from 8 to 10, so now you do 70 damage overall instead of 52. And your Scarlet Shroud, which is your block, actually went the unstoppable, right? That little CC immune that you get for blocking initially, it went from 0.4 seconds to 1 second. So you have quite a bit of time to actually like take advantage of that CC, right? That's CC immunity. So that's actually pretty decent. I've been having a lot of fun with Blade, and even though the Blade buffs doesn't seem that significant, right? The fact that a lot of DPS characters got nerfed this season, a lot of the meta DPS characters got nerfed, right? A lot of the meta DPS got nerfed, and so like it just gives Blade that little, it's kind of like a double buffs, right? Because he got the buffs for his Daywalker Dash, and then every other DPS went down. So as Blade went up, everyone else went down. So now we're kind of in that like balanced state, right? So Blade is pretty fun to play. Is he meta? I don't necessarily think so. I don't think he's as good as someone like Elsa Bloodstone. I don't think he's necessarily as better than someone like Cyclops, right? I don't think he's even better than someone like Bucky. But Blade has his uses and he's really fun to play. And I honestly, I can't wait to probably wait for like maybe a week or two to see really, to get a very clear gauge or vibe on how Blade kind of is right now. But I will say this, he is really fun. The only thing I'd say is like maybe his ult needs, I don't know, his ult needs like a slow or something, because it doesn't really do that much, right? The best use you can use for Blade is to like get that perfect angle on like a hallway or maybe rocket ults and you can just destroy it immediately, and whatnot. But or just catch someone by surprise, right? Or just to inflict the anti-heal. But or just because remember, you also get the lifesteal, so that's honestly pretty good as well. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say. Like maybe buff his ult just a tiny bit, but I mean, so far but you also gotta understand that Blade, if you're constantly like spinning and spinning and spinning with his blade, like you're gonna get your ult pretty fast. You're gonna get your ult pretty fast. So that's another thing that I guess like kind of justifies his ult not being that strong, is that you do get it quite frequently, right? A lot faster than most people think, especially now that his damage, because remember, his damage went up, right? His blade, like his sword damage went up, which means that you're gonna get your ult just a little bit faster now as well, because your ult is based off how much damage you do, right? So since you do more damage, that means you're gonna get your ult a little bit faster. So I guess that justifies like Blade not having a stronger ult. But yeah, Blade so far, he seems really fun to play, especially because every character that is currently meta or was meta is no longer meta. Someone like Black Cat is no longer meta. Daredevil is no longer like as strong as he once was, right? And Phoenix got a range nerf as well, and she no longer heals as much, right? So that's honestly pretty good. So I'm not gonna really talk about the other characters that got changed because it's so minor that I think we need a little bit more time to talk about them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip them real quick, and let's go straight into strategists. So a particular one that I want to talk about is Adam Warlock. He did get a slight buff where if you charge your attack and you shoot, I think it was called the Cosmic Cluster, where you hold down the ability and you shoot multiple like shots, right? So that they increase the buff, or they increase how much charge you get for your avatar live stream, so you can constantly spam more heals. It went from 0.48 seconds to 0.6 seconds. So honestly, it's pretty decent. The only thing I'd say for Adam Warlock that I would personally like them to add is I want them to change the way he gets healed, right? Because he can get healed from his own live stream, avatar live stream charge, but it works in a weird way. It's very inconsistent, and sometimes when you do get healed, you don't get healed the full charge. It's only like slightly. So what I would want for Adam Warlock at this point is to just make it to where every time you pop a heal, you're always guaranteed to get healed like 100 health or something, just so you don't have to like back away from the team and then just heal yourself. Because if you're near the team, the healing charge will prioritize your teammates over you, and a lot of times you're not going to get like healed. You're gonna have to rely on your other healer to heal you, and it's kind of a problem as well, because I mean, at the end of the day, it is Adam Warlock, so you do need that extra bit of self-heal and self-sustain. So it's just something that I would personally like for Adam Warlock. It's just a guaranteed, you're always gonna get healed every time you pop ult, not ult, but the healing ability. That's the only thing I would say. So next up is Cloak and Dagger. She did get her the dagger portion did get buffed a little bit. Her AoE basic attacks got buffed, so it does more heals if anyone's around. So if you're like the whole teammates are like cluttered together, you're basically gonna be dealing more heals. And on top of that, you're like your window, the healing window shit that heals, that goes forward. That now because it does two things. It heals whoever gets touched by it, they get healed, and on top of that, they get a buff that increases the healing boost ratio, that increases the healing boost in general efficiency. So that healing boost efficiency went from 15% to 20%. So now that means that when you throw the little window from Dagger, you are able to heal a lot faster. It's like giving everybody a Luna snowflake for like a couple seconds, right? So that's pretty good. And also helps with your other teammate who is also trying to heal. They're gonna heal more because of that like windows whatnot. So that's pretty good. The only thing I don't like is that because of this, she's gonna get her ult much faster now, right? Because healers or strategists get their ults based on the ratio is heals counts for more energy charge than damage. So for the most part, not all of them, right? Like the ratio I think I believe differs between like who you're playing with, right? So someone like Cloak and Dagger, your main thing is healing, so you're gonna get your ult charge more based on your heals. So that's honestly pretty good. So yeah, Cloak and Dagger, I mean, I was always banning her from the very beginning, just because that ultimate is so annoying. You just can't do nothing about it unless you like have the proper characters to you know, kill her or whatnot. But like good Cloak and Dagger players will just literally ult a whole damn lane, bro, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And that last dash from her ult, they will just go and hide somewhere. And then like even Magneto ults, is kind of like good Cloak and Daggers will know how to like avoid a Magneto ult. They know the map, they know where they can hide, they know the distance. They'll be like, yeah, I can just go from here to this like little area where they can't hit me or whatnot, and then that's it. So Cloak and Dagger, I mean, her ult is just so annoying, but it is what it is. I mean, I'll just ban her, I'll just keep banning her, you know, like I always have. Next up is Strategist Deadpool. His Lord Icon healing went up from his standard all the way up to his upgraded variant. So but his standard got the biggest buff compared to his upgraded. His upgraded went from 50 heals a second to 55, and his base, the standard, the non-upgraded one, went from 40 seconds to 50. So they kind of did this like Iron Man thing where they want you to like, they don't want you to feel like the Lord Icon is like as bad not upgraded compared to the upgraded one, even though the upgraded one is way better, just because you can throw it 2 extra times, right? That's the reason why it's so good, and now it's even better. So yeah, that's honestly pretty good with Deadpool Strategist. I just hate that he's a MVP merchant. He just gets his MVPs and SVPs so easily. It's so easy, right? They need to change that, because that's just not fair. It's not fair at all. The next one I want to talk about is Gambit. Gambit got his ultimate nerf, right? So his damage multiplier went from 25 to 20. Okay, so it's a 5% damage multiplier nerf, and they reduced the movement speed from 40% to 30%. This is what I'm going to say about Gambit. Gambit is the type of character where his ultimate is just... the reason his ultimate is so strong is because it does like 50 different things all in the span of 7 seconds. You get movement speed, you get a damage buff, you get healing over time, you get fucking jump boost, right, where you can jump higher, and if any enemies is nearby, they're gonna blow up, right? By the time the ultimate finishes, they're just gonna blow up. So to me, because Gambit still seems rather strong ultimate wise, and it's mainly because I feel like even if they nerfed the multipliers and the stats by even a little bit or even significantly, he's still gonna be really good, because he still does a lot. He still provides damage buffs. He still provides speed buff. He still provides healing. He just does everything. He still does everything. So it doesn't matter how low these percentages get. He still does the thing, right? I think it's gonna be a tricky situation for Gambit. The only thing I will say is that you could counter Gambit's ult with another like ult, like a Luna ult or a Cloak and Dagger ult, but the thing is like the fact that everyone gets a damage multiplier means it's gonna be much easier to kill Cloak and Dagger. It's gonna be much easier to kill a Luna. It's gonna be way easier to kill an Invis, because it's not even that hard to kill an Invis in her ult. It's just not. And provided that you have the Gambit ult, it's not gonna be that hard to kill Invis. It's not gonna be that hard to kill Luna, assuming that you're playing coordinated, right? And you have the proper characters to actually do such thing. It's not gonna be that difficult. But in Gambit being a neutral god, right? He has really strong mobility. He has cleanse. He has anti-heal. He has pretty decent healing. He's just a really strong character, man. So I don't know. He's really strong. He's really strong. He's pretty hard to catch if you're a good Gambit player. We'll see how it goes from here. I appreciate the nerfs, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. And he's just one of those characters where I think it's either gonna get to a point where it's like really difficult to balance. He's a really difficult character to balance because they nerfed his neutral game by a lot. They nerfed his health, they nerfed his damage, they nerfed his heals in general, and now they nerfed his ult by a little bit. So we'll see where it goes from here, from like 2 weeks from now. But so far, I'm just gonna probably predict that it's not really gonna change that much, because Gambit is still just one of those characters where you pop ult and everything dies, right? Because you can still, it's not about Gambit himself, it's about providing your DPS and your tanks with healing over time, damage multipliers, speed boost, jump height enhancements. It's all about having all those buffs all at the same time, right? So it's like giving everybody a drone, an Ultron drone with the firewall enhanced, right? It's like for like 7 seconds or whatever. So that's ultimately really strong. So the last one I want to talk about in today's video is Ultron. Ultron got pretty hefty nerfs. He was really a character, he was a triple support character. And I genuinely hate these types of characters because they are most effective in a comp that has a low % chance of winning compared to your typical 2-2-2, right? Anybody can pick Invis and be okay, whether it be 2-2-2 or triple support. Invis will always be good no matter which comp you're playing in. Luna is always going to be good in a comp where, you know, whether it be triple support or 2-2-2. Cloak and Dagger is going to be a good character to pick, whether, you know, it's just 2 supports or triple support comp. So, but you have characters like Ultron, you have characters like Adam Warlock, you have characters like Mantis. These characters suffer from the fact that they're just not that good in 2-2-2. They're only very effective in triple support comps. It's really annoying. It's really annoying because in a way, most people still to this day don't want to play tank. I feel like it's more with the tanks now than it is supports, because like I said, most people would much rather play triple support than just go a second tank, right? So but a lot of times you're still gonna run into matches where people just don't want to play support. People don't want to play support, and it's like the moment you do want to play support, you can't even pick someone like Ultron, who is personally my favorite character in the game. I can't even like pick him and be at full like efficient full, like, how do I say this, like he's not gonna get the most value. He's not gonna be the most valuable character just because of the fact that he needs to be run in a triple support comp. I don't like that design philosophy. I don't like it. Why is it that someone like Invis, Cloak and Dagger, and Luna, you can just pick them and they're good in either comps? They're good in 2-2-2s or triple support. But the moment you pick Ultron, Mantis, or Adam Warlock, your value dramatically decreases just because your role in that specific instance is mainly meant for triple support comps. It's really annoying. I am not a fan of it, especially when you have a character like Ultron, who is the only major villain in the game, sorta, not so much in the lore anymore, but you get what I'm saying. He is a character. It's just I'm not a fan of this philosophy. I don't like this. He's only really good in triple support comps. So if you pick him with for example, if you have Adam Warlock and Ultron as your 2 supports, you're not gonna get that much value compared to if you're just picking like Invis and Luna, or Invis and Cloak and Dagger, or Cloak and Dagger and Luna. It's just not, you're not getting that much value, right? So I'm not a fan of this nerf in general, but at the same time I understand why they nerfed them, right? But at the same time I don't, because Mantis is just as good as Ultron, I'd say, and they didn't nerf her. But yeah, I don't know. That's I don't know. So it is what it is. I'm personally at the point where I kind of want like a different mode that has roll queue, but I don't think NetEase is willing to even entertain the idea of roll queue, right? We kind of had that phase quite a while ago where they said like, no, we're not doing it no matter what. But considering that everybody wants to be the main character, there's never going to be a DPS drought. And I believe, I'm not sure, correct me on this, because I don't know, but I believe we're at a point where we have more DPS characters than there are Overwatch characters in general, and I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I don't like this DPS abundance, the overabundance of DPS characters. I'm not a fan of it. No one wants to play tanks, and there's only, like, realistically speaking, only half of the strategists that you're able to pick: Cloak and Dagger, Luna, and Viz, right? And sometimes White Fox. But White Fox is just like she's a dive ish support characters. So that's pretty much it for the strategists. They did also nerf the Rogue Gambit team up just because Rogue did get much better. So I guess that is fine. Yeah, I guess. All right, you know, whatever. But yeah, I would say personally, this is gonna be the best balance wise. This is probably the best it's ever gonna get, and you guys better enjoy it now, because the moment the Hood or Jubilee comes out in season 9, they're either gonna be straight out broken and break the game, and alongside that, who knows what the balancing is gonna look like for season 9. I just know they're gonna do something stupid. They're gonna do something stupid in the balance side of things, right? They're gonna do something stupid. Someone is gonna get overly buffed, someone is get overly nerfed, and the character that comes out is gonna be busted as hell, and everyone's gonna start crying. So right now, I would say like it's really good right now, balance wise. This game at this point just needs more like maps. I hate that like we're getting 2 maps this half season, and none of them are for your generic gameplay. They're a social hub map, and we're getting an 18 versus 18 map, which is so garbage. I don't fuck with arcade. I don't fuck with no social hub shit. I want to play the fucking game. I want to play comp. I want to play quick play with my friends, and we're getting all these maps for none of that. For you know, so I want more game modes as well, not just like arcade shit. I'm talking like actual game modes that you can play in comp as well. Like I want something, bro. Like, cause let's be real. Do y'all like playing defense, bro? I don't fucking, unless you're playing on comp, right? Because you're gonna play defense and attack no matter what. But in quick play, you know, it's like, bruh, playing defense, bro, I'm not sure I'd just back out. But yeah, I would just say, like, personally, I would like a separate quick match that has role queue. I would like more maps, right? With every season, I want a new map. Every map, I want a map every season, all right? The same way we get a character, we get 2 characters a season, I want 1 map every season. I want new game modes. I want to be able to surrender in quick match, or just get rid of the penalty for backing out of matches in quick match. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, guys, make sure you enjoy this season, because it's not gonna look pretty going forward. This is the best it's gonna get, so best enjoy it. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe,